Dear devotees, Dhamma friends, including Mahasangha, at the very beginning, I must pay my sincere gratitude to the chief incumbent of Buddhist Mahavihara at Kuala Lumpur and Mahasangha, and also the organizers of the Dhamma series of Buddhist Mahavihara for inviting me to deliver a short Dhamma talk on the topic of Sankirta Dhana Sutta, which comes under Anguttara Nikaya. So we don't have much time actually. Many of the listeners may be having knowledge about this discourse, about the 7 treasures that Lord Buddha has preached us that everybody can accumulate and everybody should accumulate in their lives, irrespective of sex, whether you are a woman or whether you are a man, whether you are a monk or not. If you are a follower of Buddhism, if you are a human being, doesn't matter whether you are a Buddhist or not, you need to accumulate these 7 treasures. So let me guess whether you know these 7 treasures which come under Dhana Sutta. So there is a introduction in the sutta like this at the very beginning. Saddha dhanang, sila dhanang, hiri ottapiyang dhanang, sutta dhanang cha chagova, panya me saptamam dhanang, yassa ete dhana atti, ittiha purisassava, adaliddoti tangahu, amoghang tassa jivitang. So this discourse explain, as I told you, about 7 treasures. What do you mean by treasures? Actually, Sri Lanka is a country which has a more than 2,000 years written history, and here we see many treasure hunters. I don't know how it is about in Malaysia, how it is about in other countries, but in Sri Lanka normally there are a lot of treasure hunters. They are trying to hunt the treasures which is believed to be underground. So, and also not, even though we are not trying to hunt the treasures which is underground, what we were doing actually before COVID-19 came, every one of us were hunting treasures. So normally what kind of treasures we are hunting in our day-to-day life? Money, and people around us, houses, luxurious houses and vehicles, and many other properties like lands and many other things. So everyone is hunting these treasures. And now what is going on in the world? And so everyone is saying that COVID-19 is not a tragedy actually, because in a way it is not a deadly virus, right? So only about 2% to 6% or 10% people would die because of the COVID-19 virus. So it is not a deadly pandemic or virus, but they say it damaged the economic system, the economy. So actually I don't know the numbers, but everyone knows and aware about how the COVID-19 virus affects the world economy. It decreasing day by day. So even now at home, maybe you are thinking, and what would happen to my business? What would happen to my money? And maybe many of you have already lost your careers, your jobs, and your income. So it is a great damage actually. But my friends, let me tell you one thing. Every cloud, every dark cloud has a silver line. So in the same way, even here in the corona outbreak, we can see a silver line, not one, many. Yes, when I talk about the silver line, you may already get imaginations. Yes, we have this chance, that chance, and those chances. So many in the world, I have seen many people were talking about a lesson that we need to learn from this COVID outbreak. Everyone is telling these days that the nature is teaching us a lesson. So many says this is the lesson that we need to learn from this, and this is the lesson. So there are a lot of lessons actually that we can learn. But what if we see the Buddhism? What kind of lessons that we can learn according to the Buddhism through this situation? So that is why I have picked up Sankita Dhana Sutta, which is talking about the 7 treasures. So I want you to look at this at the very beginning, and if you can remember those treasures, you can reply me right now, but you can how do you respond to my question? What are those 7 treasures? The very first one is Saddha. What is Saddha? Or the treasure of conviction in English we call. Treasure of conviction mean the conviction of Lord Buddha's awakening, right? So why it comes at the very beginning? How Saddha or the conviction becomes a treasure? It is because if you, as a follower or the disciple of the Lord Buddha, if you do not have the real faith on the word of the Lord Buddha, you would never follow his teachings. As an example, he said, as the second treasure here, the virtue, sila. So he invited us to abstain from killing, to abstain from stealing, to abstain from false word, to abstain from sexual misconduct, to abstain from intoxication. So if you do not keep faith on the word of the Lord Buddha, you would never secure or protect these virtues or sila. So that is why Buddha has preached, the Supreme Buddha, the Blessed One has preached, you should definitely have the first treasure before you are going to accumulate the other 6 treasures. So it is not that easy. So here I am actually not going to explain what is Saddha. I am not going to explain what is Sila, because we have connections with the devotees in Malaysia especially, and maybe many are now listening to this Dhamma talk, but everyone know the basic meanings or the surface meaning of these words and also these treasures. So I'm not going to explain them one by one, but let's see how can we accumulate these treasures, and what is the value of these treasures, and how we can use these treasures right now. Okay, so what is the very first one is Saddha. Why you have to accumulate Saddha or inculcate Saddha inside you? It is because if you do not have the faith on the Lord Buddha's word, and if you do not have the faith, or if you do not convince that he has already achieved his target and he's an awakened one, he's an enlightened one, and you wouldn't believe his words, because maybe you have your personal experiences, and I myself have a lot of personal experiences. Even some experts in Buddhism, they doubt about some teachings of the Buddha, and they may say, like, as an example, some kind of seasonally valid teachings are there. So they say Buddha has preached that according to the time that he has lived. So it is not valuable for today, but actually every word that Lord Buddha has preached, my friends, has a value. So we cannot take any word of the Buddha out. We have to keep the faith on the word of the Buddha, and each and every word has a value. So if you have that faith only, you would follow what he has preached. So that is why it becomes the very first virtue under the Sankita Dhana Sutta. Well, let's go one by one, and the second one is the virtue or the Sila, Saddha Dhanang, Sila Dhanang, Hiri Otap Yang Dhanang. Hiri and Otap. Hiri mean the conscience Ottappa means the fear of doing unwholesome deeds. Shame on doing unwholesome deeds is the hiri. And the next one is feeling, the fifth one is listening. Listening to Dhamma is another treasure. And the next one is the generosity. The last one is the wisdom. So let's go one by one of these treasures. And well, why I have picked these 7 treasures today as the topic, it is because many of us, including myself, to be honest, and everyone in the world, most of the Buddhists, so this is what we experience in our day-to-day life, they say that, Bhante, we do not have time to practice Dhamma, to earn the spiritual treasures. These are the spiritual treasures. So the worldly treasures are the money and all those properties and everything I have listed out earlier at the very beginning of the talk. So these are the treasures that Buddha has preached us. You must have money as lay devotees, lay people. You should have money. You should have a house. This is like a balance. So in one side, you should have the worldly treasures, wealth, to fulfill your day-to-day necessities, your basic needs, and also you need to gather these spiritual treasures also. So what were you telling? What everyone was telling is, we do not have time. They said we did not have time because we are very busy with office work. We are very busy with our business. We are very, very, very busy with our duties and responsibilities. So we are very tired of this system. So they were criticizing the system also. But my friends, here you have time now. The time that you said that you do not have, you did not have. So use it now. For what? So don't worry about the income now. If you are listening to me now, that means you are living, right? So just imagine, many people are dying everywhere. So some are trying to keep their breath. Some are struggling for their lives, right? Maybe one of you is already affected with COVID-19, but it is the time that you need to think. You are still living. You are still safe. So, my friends, try to go inside if you can't go outside. So the people who used to say that we did not have time or we do not have time, now they say we have time but nothing to do. So why don't you think that you can do with a given time, because you can never plan this in your life, right? So somebody plans, maybe the nature, maybe someone. The COVID-19 is a plan of the nature or somebody's, right? So we don't know this. No? Many interpretations are given, but my friends, you have time now that you were complaining about. So why you are not doing this? Maybe you say that, yes, Bhante, we are doing. But just imagine, today many of you wake up later and spend time watching movies and many other things. But what if you spend your time to practice Dhamma and also to accumulate these treasures? Well, let's go to the second treasure, virtue. Look at the world. At least half of the world community is now staying at home, including you, if you are staying at home right now. So many used to do something which comes under 5 virtues in Buddhism, in Panchasila, as I have explained you, Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapada Samadhyami, which means killing animals. Just imagine thousands, millions of animals were killed day by day. Even today, it is being killed. The animals are being killed, but less number. If somebody used to kill Now they can't go out of the home and they can't kill, right? So what I exactly want to say, once the Buddha said us, my disciples, please do not practice unwholesome deeds. Please practice wholesome deeds. In other words, if I say, he advised us, practice kusala and try to avoid akusala, unwholesome deeds and unwholesome thoughts. So actually we thought it is very difficult, right? Just ask yourself, what is easy, to do wholesome deeds or unwholesome deeds? It is easy to do, yes, unwholesome deeds. Why? That is the nature of our mind. But what Buddha explained, he asked us and advised us, practice kusala, wholesome deeds, and try to avoid akusala, unwholesome deeds. He did not only advise us not to do bad things, also to do what is good. Also, he mentioned and stressed, I am advising you not to engage in unwholesome activities because you can do it. I am advising you, just try to take this. This is pretty important, very important. And he advised to engage in wholesome deeds, to do good. And also he said, I am advising you to do good because you can do it. So what exactly you are doing now at home? If there are a person listening to me who used to get alcohol in his day by day, or drugs, there are many drug addicts in the world. Even the psychologists, even the doctors used to say these drug addicts need drugs every day. If not, they may have some problems in their life. Either drugs they used to take or some medication they need. But just imagine how many drug addicts are now at home with no drugs, but still they are living. So everything is depending on your mind. It is all about your mind. So if a drug addict who addicted drug very seriously can stay at home with no drugs, that means every one of us can avoid unwholesome deeds, unwholesome activities. We can do good activities. If I explain this according to the culture in Sri Lanka, actually, so Sri Lanka is not a country which has a good economy. So these days, many people staying at home, struggling with their food. But you know, nobody is dying because no food, because of hunger. Why? The people who can manage share them with everyone. So normally the temples in Sri Lanka, uh, in these tragedies, support the community and also the other people. So everyone is looking after others. That is what we have practiced. So I'm not telling that you do not have these treasures, my friends. Many of us, we know what is Buddhist Mahavihara is, and we know how good people are there and how do they practice the generosity. So in the same way, so I am asking you, so there is a very nice story in Sri Lankan Buddhist literature. There was a lady, a beautiful lady who was very poor, but still she was having a very long and very healthy hair. Sorry. And but she was very poor. There was a rich woman and she wanted to have that hair. So she went to the poor lady and asked her, and she made a demand. She said, I will give you 1,000 golden coins for your hair. Please give it to me. And the lady who was having, the young lady, the girl who was having the beautiful hair actually wanted to give it, to sell it, because 1,000 golden coins, it's massive money, it's a big money. Because they were very poor, they were struggling with their economy at home. So she wanted to sell it, but she asked from her mother and father and the family and herself, but nobody were uh, motivating her to sell her hair. So she refused. And the rich lady, made the price double. 2,000 golden coins. No. 5,000. No. 10,000 golden coins. She said, no, maybe I am very poor, but I need my hair. And then an outbreak came like this. It was a dry season. A drought came to the country, and everyone was struggling, not only the poor, but also the richest. And she was at home, the lady who was having beautiful hair, and they did not have anything at their home to fill their stomach, to fill their stomach. Nothing was there to eat. A monk visited them one early morning in his arms round, begging for food. A monk. And that the young lady saw that monk was coming towards her home and searched everywhere, the whole family, because they know that they have nothing to eat, but they were looking for something to offer the monk, to the bhikkhu. They could not find anything. And suddenly, the young lady, the girl, the daughter of the family who had the long hair, ran to the, where? Can you guess? To that richest lady. And she was begging her, I would like to sell my hair now. How much money you need to give me? You said that you would buy my hair for 10,000 golden coins. And now the young lady was waiting for the money, but the richest lady, now she is demanding it. Now she said, no, I don't give you 10,000 coins. And like they were having kind of a discussion. At the end, she could only have one single coin, which is not worthy enough for the hair. But believe me, she sold her hair. She cut it and took that small coin, which is not even a gold. And she bought a small amount of food from the shop and ran home and offered that to that monk. So what does this story teaches us, my Dhamma friends? Not only you, everybody in the world are struggling even with the food. But Lord Buddha preached us, advised us, if you are a person who has these spiritual treasures, if you have practiced Dhamma, if you know the good karma, good results of donation or the generosity, Chag is the treasure which comes here. If you know the value of giving, you will never give up giving, especially in the outbreaks like this. Especially when the hard season comes, you should practice what you have been practicing. So my Dhamma friends, this is the real time. So this is the due season. You have to practice these virtues or these qualities, or to accumulate these treasures, or on the other way, to examine whether you have these treasures already. So how to practice them? So now I'm not going to take more time, because we are going to make it so short. But the message here, if we take one by one these treasures again and again, the very first thing is the treasure of conviction. You need to practice the virtues of the Lord Buddha day by day. What are those virtues? The Lord Buddha is an awakening one. He's an enlightened one. He's the Buddha. And Lord Buddha is worthy and righty. And he's well gone, and also he's an expert with regard to the world, and also a trainer for those fit to be tamed, and also a teacher not only for human beings but also for the divines. And also he's awakened, he's blessed. So in this way, if you practice the virtues of the Buddha, 9 virtues, you can improve your conviction regarding the Lord Buddha. You can read about his story these days, not just wasting the time. So in that way, you can accumulate or strengthen your treasure of conviction. The second one is the virtue, as I have told you. Maybe personally you have you were used to do one of the unwholesome deeds like killing or stealing. Just imagine how many robbers are there here and there, thieves. Just imagine how many murders are taken place. So just for a one single minute, more than 100 murders are taken place everywhere in the world. So many people are talking now the death rate of the COVID-19 is more than 25,000, if I'm correct. 125,000. But like every single day, people are dying because somebody is killing, and animals are dying thousands and millions because somebody kills. So if you used to steal, if you used to use your false word, just imagine now you can't use your bad mouth because nobody is with you. So that's why I have told you that the nature or the COVID-19 outbreak has given us a very fabulous chance to protect our sila, to protect our virtue. So try to practice virtue, at least try it, because Buddha said, maybe because you were very busy with your business and your career, your responsibilities, you could not practice. Maybe you never thought that we can practice these virtues, but just try, because now you are staying at home. So try at least 2-3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. We don't know how long this will last. So just try to practice at least now. Make this time valuable. So then you will understand, you would understand that practicing virtue is not that difficult. So the next one is if someone asks, is there any cure for COVID-19 virus explains in Buddhism? So my answer is yes. That is hiri or tap, which means the shame and fear. Actually, hiri or tap mean those 2 virtues explains about the shame on doing bodily misconduct actions, bad actions, and also engaging in verbal misconduct, and also the mental misconduct. But of course, what World Health Organization is every day telling is the same. You have to afraid of COVID-19 virus and don't go outside. And also that you have to be shame, because people do not have shame actually in the countries around us. So they don't fear of this, and they don't have shame of this. So what Buddha actually preached not about this, but you can utilize it. And the next one is listening. We are given only 1 mouth, and we were given only 2 ears. Why? When you start talking too much, you learn nothing. I'm repeating it again. If you talk, you learn nothing. But if you listen, you learn many. We were given 1 mouth to talk less, 2 ears to listen much. But according to Buddhism, listening is a treasure. For what? Listening to Dhamma. Which Dhamma? The Dhamma which is valuable at the beginning, at the middle, at the end. So here we have to admire the effort taken by the Buddhist Mahavihara and also the organizers of the Dhamma Dana series, because they have given you a treasure. So this is a treasure for even us. Even myself used to listen to Dhamma in public page of Buddhist Mahavihara these days. So here you have one treasure that we are giving, and also the Buddhist Mahavihara. Enjoy it. The next one is the generosity. I have already told you. Just look at your both sides around your home. Maybe there are animals, those who do not have food. Maybe there are people, those who are in hunger. So when you, especially in this season, when you have food to eat, just please check whether your neighbors and the others do have food. And also we know that Buddhists and the others also, they are looking at each other and they are looking after everyone. But this is just an advice as a Buddhist monk. Please do it, because as I have told you in that story, if you practice dana or the generosity, especially in the situations like this, and you would get more good results, and also the everyone. And the last one is the wisdom. How you can achieve wisdom? It is only through listening again. So just imagine once we finish the talking, also the discussion, you can see the connection these 7 treasures has each other. So if you do not have the conviction on Lord Buddha, you would never follow the other virtues. And also, if you do not have the virtues, and you would never have the fear and the shame on doing bad actions, also the bodily misconduct. And also, if you don't have the shame and fear and all those things, if you do not have the virtues, if you do not have the faith on the word of the Buddha, you would never practice listening. You never will practice the Dhamma, or the listen to the Dhamma. And the next one is, you will never practice generosity if you do not listen to Dhamma. And also, if you do not listen to Dhamma, and also do not practice the wholesome thoughts. And if you do not develop your mind, my friends, you will never get the wisdom. So at the end of the day, the most important thing is the wisdom and also these treasures. If a monk or a lay devotee, whether a woman or a man, if he or she has these treasures at the end of the life, whether you do not have money, house, or food to eat, you will be a happy person. So to have a very calm mind, to become a happy person, whether you have wealth or not, these wealth treasures would help you to lead a happy life. So I am going to conclude the short Dhamma talk today, and questions if you have to explore more. And we will be back to Mr. Leslie, and then we will start with the question and answer session. Thank you very much. May the Triple Gem bless you. Mr. Leslie, I don't hear you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Thank you for the very interesting talk on the Dhana Sutta and the 7 treasures, and how our devotees can actually benefit if we put this sutta to practice. There was one
Yeah.
question by a gentleman. Basically, he was asking, how can we plan our life according to the 5 precepts? Bhante? Could you have a quick answer for him?
Yeah, can you repeat the question, please?
How can we plan our life according to the 5 precepts?
Well, how can we plan our life according to the 5 precepts is a long answer to be given, but what I have to tell you is, like, whatever the plan you have in your life, you can still practice Pansil, but it is not that easy. Uh, just imagine you are doing a business, right? So if you are make any harm to the environment, and of course you are not practicing panchasila or the virtues. So when you select your career, especially when you because you can manage it, right? You can avoid stealing, you can avoid killing, and you can avoid abstaining from you can abstain from stealing, killing, and also sexual misconduct, and also taking intoxication. But the most difficult thing is avoiding the bad mouth. So when you ask me how can we plan our life according to the Panchasila, what I have to tell you is just conscious how difficult it is to protect Sila. It is really difficult. So you have to select your career in which that you will never have to lie. Okay, so because you can manage the other four, of course, it's more personal, but the faith on your own, that I would never tell a lie, I would never use my mouth for a bad word. That is the most difficult thing. In Rahulova, the Sutta, Lord Buddha has told Rahula, if this Panchasila is like a tusker, I have explained this several times also, the trunk is the good word, because a tusker who is in a battlefield never uses his trunk to fight. He uses his tusks, he uses his head, it uses his ears, it uses his forelegs, also the tails and the body. But the most valuable part to fight against the enemies is the trunk, but it hides the trunk and fight with the other parts of the body. Why? You can understand, because if it cuts or get damaged into its trunks, it cannot live any longer. So in the same way, if you plan your life, plan everything where you would not have to use your bad mouth. So I think you get what I wanted to tell.